why he's not going to beat LeBron. Why? Listen, it doesn't matter how much you like strawberry ice cream. It's not as good as chocolate.
Well, I think it's a matter of preference. I love strawberry ice cream.
But more people like chocolate ice cream. And
sure.
it's just never... Kevin Durant is never going to be as good as LeBron. By the way, that's not a criticism. Aaron Rodgers is never going to be Peyton Manning or Brady. Doesn't mean he's not a top 10 guy ever.
Okay, but...
You can't just keep throwing titles in.
If Aaron Rodgers goes on a run and wins 4 more rings...
Well, that's not going to happen.
Okay, but let's say it did happen.
He's not going to win 4 more NFC North titles.
I tend to agree with you, but let's say it did happen. Would you start having that conversation?
Stop throwing hypotheticals.
It's not even that unrealistic.
Yeah, if there's an ice age tomorrow, I literally have to ski to work. It's not going to happen.
It's not that unrealistic.
If Phil Mickelson wins 32
championships directly against LeBron.
Kevin Durant's never going to be LeBron. It's just
I'm just saying he should be in the conversation, especially if he wins at least 2 more rings, and LeBron doesn't.
I think he's in the conversation of second best player for 15 years. That's Joy Taylor with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Line News.
I want to go to my... And I'll tell you this. There's another story out today that Kevin Durant's going to the Knicks. I think it would be a classic mistake. I'm for mobility, but I'm not for reckless mobility. I think the Warriors are the perfect fit. I think they've got a cool head coach. I think Steph Curry's one of the all-time classiest, greatest superstars in league history. It's a cool city full of tech, and Durant loves tech. It's good ownership. I mean, he doesn't have to be the tough guy. He doesn't have to be the rebounder. Doesn't have to be the best defender. Doesn't have to be the emotional leader. Doesn't even have to be the leader. He can shoot, score, and win MVPs. All right, it's the best place in the world. Let's go to Nick Wright via the Cower Global Satellite Network. First things first, let's just start with a Durant thing. Okay, Joy throws up these Ice Age hypotheticals. If he wins 9 more trophies, I have no problem.
I said 2 more.
I contend he's the Peyton Manning to Brady. And there's nothing wrong with that. Agree or disagree?
Listen, he's never going to pass LeBron in the all-time pantheon. In order to do that, not only would he need more rings, he'd need a bunch more league MVPs. He would need to play longer than anyone expects him to. But what was reported by, you said The Athletic, right?
Yeah.
That was exactly what I have heard is pushing him to New York. Is he got pushed to Golden State by people around him saying, you're better than LeBron, man, the guy he's always looked up to. The only reason people won't acknowledge it is you don't have the rings. Go somewhere, you're guaranteed a ring, everyone will acknowledge it. And it kills him that is not what happened. Going to New York, a franchise that hasn't won a title in 45 years, and winning a title similar to the LeBron Cleveland title, while that wouldn't push Kevin Durant above LeBron in the pantheon, it could push him above LeBron in the right now. Durant is in that same boat Kobe's in, which is one of the greatest players ever to never be the best player in the league at any given moment, because as we know, it went from Jordan to Shaq to Duncan to LeBron. Someone's going to take it after LeBron. Giannis is in the pole position right now. A title for Durant in New York would have him snatch it. I think that's one of the reasons he likes that idea.
By the way, you and I both like LeBron, but I will say this, 15 years, 3 titles, there is some carnage when you do business. It's the great duality of life. On a rainy day, there's the good news about rainy days. Kids stay inside and read more, and that's good. On the days that we see clouds, there's sunshine beneath it. LeBron leaves carnage. You win some games, you get it, but Cleveland twice has been a mess. Miami was a mess when he left. This situation with the Lakers, if it doesn't happen by Thursday, you can just might as well push Luke Walton into the unemployment line. Could we not acknowledge at least, Nick, this situation in the last 9 days, it's a mess. There's leaks everywhere.
Sure. Listen, I disagree with you on the carnage point, and if you want to revisit it, we can. But let me talk about the last 9 days. Like, there's this guy on Twitter. He's invaluable. Everyone should follow him. His name's Kevin Cruz, and he's a historian. And so politicians say certain things, and he just actuallys everyone with, well, this is actually what happened in the Civil War, and he goes through it.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm having to become that for the NBA Twitter world, but the history is just 12 months ago. What was going on in Cleveland 1 year ago this week? Oh, there were a lot of rumors about guys going to be traded. Oh, they got beat by 32 at home. This was all 1 year ago this week. The next night, they got beat by 34 in the second half to Orlando. They then traded half the team, and they ended up in the NBA Finals. Of course the team's dysfunctional right now. These kids are understandably put off by the fact that they are movable, they are tradable, they are not part of the future. They're going to have to move their families or their lives or whatever. That's tough. But that's the cost of doing business, trying to win championships right now. And the idea that other franchises have been left in disarray, I reject. Cleveland was left to be Cleveland, to be what Cleveland has always been without LeBron. It's not like Cleveland was this amazing organization. LeBron came in like Godzilla smashing buildings. No, Cleveland was a hellhole organization, and then LeBron carried it for 7 years, left, they went right back to being Cleveland, carried it for 4 years, left, and then went right back to being Cleveland. Miami did the smart thing in investing in 3 superstar veterans. LeBron left. Bosch's health failed him tragically. D-Wade got old, so of course they're going to fall off. And of course you trade the future to make 4 consecutive finals and win 2 rings, or go to 4 consecutive finals in Cleveland and win 1 ring. Those teams did the right thing. Just like it'd be the right thing for the Lakers to trade the quote future for a 25-year-old superstar Anthony Davis.
I want to go shift to NFL. I got one topic here that I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Is that Belichick and McVay, film has come out, NFL films. And before the game, McVay goes up to Belichick and acts like any young announcer would do to Vin Scully, or what any player would do meeting, if you're a young politician and you met Barack Obama or in his prime Ronald Reagan, and you would show ultimate respect for about 15 seconds.
Deference.
Right. People are crushing McVay. Ray Lewis said it cost him the game. I don't buy it. How does it land for you?
Okay, I'm not surprised that would happen. I thought Coach Eric Mangini made an interesting point on our show this morning, which is, you remember the story that came out before the Super Bowl, how Belichick and McVay would text. Belichick would text McVay after Rams games.
Yeah.
Coach Mangini made the point that Bill Belichick's not in the business of helping other coaches. So he's doing that for his own purposes, even if you think it's helping you. I don't mind McVay hugging Belichick or having a moment with Belichick before the game. What cost them the game was the inability to make adjustments. Where in the world is Todd Gurley? I feel like we had a damn national emergency about Malcolm Butler for 6 weeks last year.
Yeah.
You got the Offensive Player of the Year, MIA, nobody knows why. And then Jared Goff, quietly, everyone's like, was the Super Bowl too big for Jared Goff? The Rams better hope that was the problem, because that's fixable. Here's what's not fixable, or not as easily fixable. Up until the Chiefs game, the Rams are 10-1, Goff, 26 touchdowns, 6 picks, a 114 rating. Over the next 8 games, 7 touchdowns, 8 picks, a 74 rating, and they're 5-3. That wasn't the moment. Something happened to Jared Goff the last 2.5 months of the year. All those things matter a lot more than Jared Goff walking up to Belichick looking like, if I'm being honest, me the first time I met you. There is a moment where you're like, wow, that's the guy. And then you're like, man, forget that guy. Yeah. We're in that phase of our relationship now. McVay's got to get there at some point.
My buddy. Nick Wright, co-host First Things First. Good talking to you.
You as always. Talk to you later.
Okay. Don Yee, Tom Brady's agent, Jimmy Garoppolo's agent, Julian Edelman's agent next hour. It is, and by the way, Nick poses a very interesting question. What happened to Jared Goff? I'll tell you what happened to him. He lost his favorite target, Cooper Kupp, and then Todd Gurley had an injury, and you cannot take away for a young quarterback, Carson Wentz, Deshaun Watson, it doesn't matter who, Baker Mayfield. You can't take away their favorite receiver. Cooper Kupp is his guy, and then your Zeke level, Todd Gurley level superstar running back, we're going to give him half the carries. That's what happened. They've been in the pocket long enough, they can overcome stuff. These young quarterbacks, you can't take away their teddy bear. You can't take away their binky. You can't take away their comforter. Like, it's just like young kids. They get into these habits. They need this, they need that. Then as you age, you're able to adapt to the problems and the roadblocks and the obstacles of life. You can't take Cooper Kupp and Todd Gurley away from Jared Goff and go, hey, he's not the same. Well, guess what? As good as Patrick Mahomes was, I don't think he was ever quite as good when he lost Kareem Hunt. He was still good. And by the way, when the Patriots took out Tyreek Hill and they didn't have Kareem Hunt, the offense wasn't the same. And he's the MVP. And I don't think Goff is as talented as Patrick Mahomes. So that's just the reality of it. Coming up next, 5 straight Super Bowl losers. Same things happen. I'll tell you what next. Valentine's Day is next Thursday.